for Cameron. What was the reason behind that?
Just to look at them, and then we'll get Neville in at some point too, just to see where they're at and check out where they're at. And so, we'll rotate Cameron back next practice. So.
How do you think John looked? Threw a couple touchdown passes in 11-on-11 today.
I think he did some good stuff. It's just, it's like anything when you first get in there, just it happens fast, and so just adjusting to that and being a little quicker on his throws. But I thought he threw it pretty decently, and and he's a real smart kid, so he picks things up pretty quick.
Trey threw a pick the first play of his drive, and then kind of rebounded. Do you think he finished out his series pretty well today?
Threw 2 touchdowns at the end. I thought he finished pretty good. I thought James should have kept going. He ended up getting walled off and shouldn't have got walled off. And then, of course, that's just the way it worked out. And it was kind of a new play, new concept we were messing with. So
there were a few scuffles kind of during the middle of practice today, and I know sometimes you said that they can kind of detract from what you guys are doing out there. Do you feel like that detracted from the work you guys got done today, or?
No, I don't think so. I just, waste a little time, and so if they waste too much time, we'll up down them. We'll just move them and up down them and then do the others. But no, I didn't think it took anything away. Everybody's bouncing around and they're excited to be out there, so.
Is some of that to be expected at this point in practice? You've been out here for 2 weeks or so.
We haven't had too many. There's a flare up here and there, but part of it.
I feel like Anthony Gordon's starting to gain a little momentum, a little traction with just being comfortable out there the last 3-4 practices. It just seems like he's been on it.
Yeah, I thought he was sharp today. In team in particular. I think the ball comes off his hand real quick, and he responds to plays quick, and he's getting to where he makes better judgments on it too. So, but the quicker the better. So.
It seems like he and Aesop Winston kind of have this, rhythm that they played together in San Francisco. But what's it like to see those two kind of click together?
Well, it's good, but Aesop's starting to get a rhythm with everybody because he's become really reliable, and Aesop's gotten where he's kind of explosive out there, and and he gets a lot of mop-up balls. If a play breaks down or something, or if he's not the first read, he keeps working, and so he finds his way into a lot of balls. And I think when you develop that kind of reliability, then the quarterbacks find you, and then they'll look for you if they get in a bind. And I think he's kind of got that not just with Gordon, but with all of them.
Has he maybe been the most consistent wideout throughout spring practice? It seems like every day he's plays.
I think most consistent would probably be him and Kyle, I think.
Can you compare him to anybody at receiver that you've had over your tenures, or a name that maybe bounces off your?
Nobody in particular, but the good ones always keep working to see if they can find their way into the play, whether it's designed for them or not. He does a really good job of that, and always finds space, and so he gets a lot after the fact production.
What have you seen from Kyle, and how nice is it just to have that level of experience at wide receiver?
Well, I think that's it. Kyle's always been a guy that's pretty crafty out there, and then his experience helps him too. So, he's got a consistency to him that is a pretty good example for the others.
Has there been anything that's surprised you about midway through camp? Something that's better than you expected? Something that hasn't been quite as good as you expected it to be, player-wise, position group-wise? Anything at all?
I'd say overall better. I don't have any specifics. Overall better. I think our effort's been good. We could be a little more consistent, but we've had consistently pretty good effort as far as people running around and getting to where they're supposed to be with a sense of urgency. So I think that part's been really good.
You're still a week and a half away from the spring game, and obviously you want to see your guys improving every day, but what do you want to see from them at this point in camp?
Just improving every day. I mean, you did pretty much what you said. I mean, we just got to, at this time of year, you battle to be consistent, and so we're definitely battling that.
At what point do you give up on the cargo shorts if it's too cold, or is this?
Lately it's been pretty difficult to predict, Early in practice, they were a great idea. Later in practice, they weren't such a red-hot idea. So, once we hit March, the weather was all over the place. So you get you'll get 5 days worth of weather in an afternoon, so.
Is there a certain tipping point that'll make you drive to practice rather than walk with the weather?
If I'm late or if I got a meeting, not the weather. I don't mind the weather.
Even snow?
No, snow's real peaceful out there, and it's, you'll see quite a few animals running around, especially at night. So no, snow's not a problem.
Have you ever been anywhere that's as sporadic with the weather as Pullman, where it can be raining and snowing and sunny in the same day?
Yeah, where I grew up in Wyoming, except it's cold, it gets even colder. So, oh yeah. Yeah, I had a track meet one time. It was probably 60, 65 degrees. And all of a sudden the wind came whipping out of the canyon, and it dropped about 4 inches of that styrofoamy like spring snow. And yeah, they delayed the thing a little bit, and then it melted and got up into the high 50s, and but it came whipping through the canyon, and I mean just dropped. I mean thick snow everywhere, and like I say, dropped 4 inches fast. And then, but it melted pretty fast too. So then everybody was out there back in business.
What was your track event?
I did quite a few things. It depends what year. Sophomore, I did the 880 and the 440, and based on that, I figured I better get faster because those are fairly painful events. And so then, as I got faster, then it was the 440 and the 220, and probably my best was the 220. My best overall was the 220. If we had a dual meet and somebody couldn't make, and the other team couldn't make starting height on the pole vault, I'd pole vault, but because I could make starting height, I could go about 3 settings, and then, that was it. But if a big meet with a bunch of people that knew what they were doing, then I wouldn't. And then I long jumped. I used to long jump some. Kind of whatever. And then the relays. We do the relays.
One more. What's the weirdest animal you've seen on one of your walks? You said you see animals when it gets snowy.
Tracked a raccoon one time in the snow. Because I was in a neighborhood, and I was just curious where this raccoon lived, and there's fresh raccoon tracks, and he'd been digging in somebody's garbage, and so I followed the tracks, and I don't even know if these people know it, but he lives right in the back of their house in a bunch of brush and trees, and because you could follow right, approximately where he's at. A huge owl, which I see hawks, foxes, coyotes. I saw a coyote in my neighbor's front yard. A quail. Now in snow, if you walk up on the quail and they're under that snow, they'll lift up right in front of you, and it scares the hell out of you. Walked up on a herd of deer in one of the pastures one time. Seen pheasants, but not a lot. Trying to think what else. Rabbits, yeah, a lot of rabbits.
You consider yourself a pretty good tracker then, huh?
Well, if it's just blatantly obvious and it's just snows, I mean, it's like, it's like on a cartoon or something. I mean, it's just blatant tracks. But I was curious. It was residential enough. I was curious where this sucker lived, and so I walked about half a mile out of my way to sort that out. But it was a fairly residential area, and I was just curious where a raccoon would live. So